Hello there and nice to have you on my channel. Welcome! Today I'm going to do a flip through of this journal. I have created this journal for the new ideology release 2024 from TIM HOLTZ. And yeah, I just want to show you my elements and my thoughts and why I made some choices and everything. So yeah, let's start right away. This is the cover. On the cover there is a kind of movable mechanism. It looks like this is just the cover with a piece of tag on the top sticking out and a piece of tag on the bottom sticking out. But yeah, it's moving. My recommendation would be to, hold the tag on the corner, the top tag and also the bottom tag, to hold the tags on the corner and do not pull the ribbon, because those holes can be fragile where the ribbon was put through. So yeah, I rather would do this. And I have to turn it a bit. Okay, let me turn it a whole bit, because otherwise it is not totally visible on my camera. It is a strange angle for right now, but yeah, then you can see how the layout was meant to be. So like I told you, this just looks like a cover, but it's just not one piece of paper. It's kind of, well, let's say a tunnel. So there is a backing paper and the top paper, and in the middle there is the movable mechanism. So the two tags can move out and back in again. For the part that is sticking out, I have made a little collage with the new paper dolls, the new postal stamps. I've also used a couple of snippets out of the Curator pack, and I do love my Remnant drops to fill up blank areas like here and also on the right top. Then let's talk about the middle piece. I have made kind of an outline with the new paper strips and some label tape. Then here in the background you can see I have used one of the new collage sheets and aged it with some ink and paint. On top is one of the new cabinet cards, those frames. I did some staining on top, also some Remnant drops, and I have used the new tape. I really love the tape. It looks so super real. Then as a focal point I have chosen the two boys, and two boys with the same body position, so one arm on this side and one arm on this side, so they could lean on something, and they lean on a small collage of papers. Then one of the new metal quotes, keep room in your heart for the unimaginable. Then we have the bottom tag, also a small collage with a piece of snippet, one of the new postal stamps, another snippet, some pieces of a Remnant drop, and one of the quotes out of the small talk booklet. Attitude is everything. And maybe you are wondering what kind of surface, what kind of structure have I used to make this journal. I have used two file folders out of the new ideology line. Just two, and that is everything you need to create this whole journal. So this mechanism was glued on top of one of those file folders, but of course I first covered the file folders with some fabric and a bit of a spine with burlap. In the background, on those clear areas on the fabric, I did some stamping with the Eccentric stamp set. Now that you know my base, I have used two of these. We can go and take a look inside. Woo! My closure is just a piece of fabric that I have colored with a distress spray. And you can see I have a little dangle hanging over there with a safety pin. And this is one of the new circle metal quotes. And it says, focus on the good. And while I opened my closure, I totally forgot to tell you, because I just saw it. I think, oh yeah, I did not tell you anything about it. I made a little bit of an edge, a sticking out edge underneath our mechanism to, well, it's more like a faux sticking out part, because of course you cannot pull those cards and those numbers out, but it's a faux decoration. To make the faux decoration, I have used some of the new paper strips, Snippets number strips, a small label, a small piece of ephemera, and again a piece of the new tape. Okay, let's move on to our first page. There we go. Did you see that? I have made a pop-up element. Oh, I could play with this all day long. That is so nice and very satisfying. Okay, let's talk about what we see right now. So in the background I have used multiple of the cabinet frames to make it look like there is a very large big frame in the background. In the frames I have used small pictures. And all of these small pictures came out of the extra large collage strips. I have used these small pieces. The frames are a bit aged with ascending disc. There are some remnant drops on top, some pieces of the new tape. And here, and like for example here on the top, I did a zigzag stitch, a crisscross stitch. What we can still see in the background is that my first layer to cover those file folders are the new collage sheets. Then also here on the side I have repeated my faux like inserts, sticking out parts. So I have used some snippets, a piece of one of the paper strips, some tape on top, and one of the new postal stamps. Then in the middle of the page, that is very obvious, I have made a pop-up element. The top and bottom part are covered, also with pieces from the XL collage strips. Then on both I made a little belly band and I have decorated it with the new paper strips. So underneath the belly bands I could make small cards. And you can see I made good use of those small portraits that came out of the collage strips. I have used the new postal stamps, those pointy fingers, I really like them. And the rest I have filled up with some snippets and a cute little butterfly. I gave both small cards a black backing, so the card will pop out more. And now that my cards are out and I'm just wiggling this around a bit, you can see how I have decorated the background with paper strips and pieces of the collage strips. Now let's take a closer look on the left and on the right side of the middle section. I have created two faux pockets, so yeah, you cannot get this out. It is glued down so everything can stay in place when you move the pop-up element, otherwise it will fall out. Then behind this piece I do have two removable ephemera pieces. Again, I have chosen to go with a black backing. It pops out more and it gives more contrast. So we have the little tag shape with a pocket inside. I have placed a postal stamp and a little snippet over there, and again a piece of tape. For the left pocket I created similar pieces of ephemera because, well, when you have watched my videos before, I like a repetition and that it all is looking cohesive and matching. So again, a little tag with a slide in pocket with a postal stamp, a mini snippets, a piece of the new tape. Here you can also see a piece of the new tape and all kinds of pieces of the new paper strips and pieces out of the collage strips. I have also used some older pieces of the ephemera. I also did a little stamping. I stamped a label and I have put some remnant drops on top. This was my first page. Let's take a look on my second page. Again, there is a pop-up element that will stand up like this. I so love this picture, it's so funny. Every time I see these girls, it makes me laugh. Let's jump right in on this middle piece. I have chosen 6 portraits out of the new photo booth. I have aged the pictures, I have stained them, I have added some remnant drops on top, some pieces of the new tape. I have sanded them down with descending discs. Here I have used a piece of the small talk out of the booklet, stapled it down with the tiny attacher. On the sides I have used some paper strips. She is also so lovely. But yeah, maybe it's just me that you will have some favorites in those packs, but I think she and the girls down here bring such a good and funny vibe, and that makes you smile. So that was about the center. Then on the left of the center and the right of the center, I have glued down 2 pieces of collage strips. And to break the, well, let's say more busy kind of collage strips, I have put some neutral labels on top. And to bring in the contrast, I gave it a black backing and some black remnant drops. On both sides, left and also here on the right, I made again a faux sticking out part. So we are talking about the new cabinet cards and the new cabinet cards, those frames, and did exactly the same thing over here. Then totally in the background you can still see the pieces of the new collage sheets, and also here on the left. That also brings me to this pocket. Because remember that I told you in the beginning of the video that I have used two file folders, and the two file folders, the back of the first file folder and the front of the second file folder, are attached together. And then you will have immediately a pocket. This is the card that I created for the pocket, some paper strips, two of the dolls, some collage sheet in the background, tape, remnant rubs, some label tape, and a little collage so the boy could sit down. I will go to our final page, and that is the back cover. Again, when we are talking about repetition, I have used those cabinet cards frames again because I have used them throughout the whole journal, and it really makes this project matching. And then I mean these cabinet card frames. And maybe you have noticed that I have not used them in whole, I have cut them. Of course it is easy to use them as is, but I also want you to know that the creativity with these frames are endless, because you can combine two colors if you cannot choose a lighter green or a darker green. You can make it more interesting by adding paper strips and make a frame with that too. So yeah, again, as a base I have used a frame. Then on top I have a pull-out pocket, which I have decorated with one of the dolls, and a small collage. I have added some pieces of the tape, and over here you can see I have like a little tab, and this is the part that you can pull to pull out your pocket. Inside the pocket I have these postal stamps. They are in a booklet and they have like darker black lines around them, and I have cut them exactly on those lines. So when I peel off the postal stamps they will still be sticky, but this is a great way to use them in your project, and if you want to send out your journal in like a swap or with a creative friend, that the recipient can still use your postal stamps. But of course there are more possibilities to put something in the pull-out pocket. You can think about small photos, a little cluster, or maybe a journal card. Only thing to keep in mind when you want something in there, just to keep it, well, let's say thin, because otherwise when you have like a stack of papers, it will be too thick and this will not close easily anymore. On the left side of my frame I have made like also faux sticking out parts that are, well, glued down because, well, they are faux. So it will look like you can grab them, but that is not possible. I have some pieces of ephemera, a label, a number strip snippet, some pieces of the new paper strips, also a snippet, the new postal stamp, and one here also, a leftover piece of one of the paper strips. That means do not throw away even the tiniest pieces of paper, because you can always use them. In the background I did some stamping on the fabric, like I did before on the cover of the journal. And I also did some stamping in the left bottom corner. Yeah, and this was my flip through for today. I hope you really enjoyed my explanation and seeing my details more up close. I also hope I gave you some inspiration to start a journal for yourself and have fun creating with the new Ideology Line 2024. All the materials that I have used, I will put them down in my description box below so you can check it out. Also in my description box are my links for my social media platforms, a link to my coffee shop for when you want to buy me a coffee, and also a link to my Etsy store where I sell my digital kits for junk journaling. Thank you so much for spending time on my channel and enjoy your day. Bye!